Chapter 12 is about design, prototyping, and construction. So this is the last chapter that we're going to tackle for our finals term. So after this pre-recorded video discussion, the students are expected to formulate their case study presentation for finals. Okay? So let us first begin with the overview or the learning outcomes or the student learning outcomes. In this particular chapter, the student will learn what is prototyping, what are the different types of prototyping, how do we apply or how do we show the conceptual design through the use of prototyping, how do we formulate concrete ideas, and what is scenarios. So what are the other parts or other types of prototyping? So how do we generate prototypes and constructing a prototype? So, first things first is we need to answer what is a prototype. Now, a prototype class has different types. But before we discuss what is prototype in depth, let us first categorize the two types of prototyping. So, in prototyping, meron po tayong dalawang types. We have the low fidelity prototype and high fidelity prototype. And also, we have compromises in prototyping known as vertical and horizontal. After prototyping, once that it is approved, the final products or the final product can be now engineered. So prototype has two definitions according to our module. It is a one manifestation of a design that allows stakeholders to interact with it. And in another design fields, a prototype is a small-scale model like a miniature car, a miniature building, or town. Now class, prototyping ay ginagamit natin pagka ipe-present natin siya sa would-be clients natin or stakeholders na tinatawag. So kadalasan, ang stakeholders, sila yung nagsusustain or nagsusustento sa atin para maipagpatuloy natin yung ating project. So, it is important that they are aware of what or ano na yung progress ng ating design. So, one way to show it without finishing the complete product is through prototype. Now, prototype comes in different forms. So, one of the sample of prototypes is a miniature. For example, you were in charge of designing a car, a new model or a new line of model for a company. So, car yung yung manufacture nila. You are in charge of designing for that. Mostly, what you're going to do is you create a small prototype like a miniature car. Like for the house, for example, it's not enough that you have blueprint sometimes. Especially if that is a high-rise building, you must have at least a miniature to show the stakeholders what it looks like kahit miniature lang siya. Kasi minsan, the problem if we did not prototype, we have no way of showing it to our would-be clients. Ang magiging problem doon is minsan, hindi naging tugma or hindi naintindihan gano yung pinropose mong idea, umuulang sila, then pagtapos na, tsaka kayo magkakaroon ng problema. It will cost or it will be too costly para mag-revise. That's why we have prototype para maklinaw natin yung communication between different parties. Here are the examples of prototype. So, the illustration that you see at illustration A is a model jet engine. Minsan, meron tayong mga materials or bagay na gusto nating maipakita yung pinaka-itsura. One of the key things to do or to be able to show the prototype of your model is to 3D printing. So, si 3D printing, nagpiprint siya ng parang gawa sa silicone or gawa sa plastic na material and then piniprint niya to into 3D. Hence, the name 3D printing. Like this example, model jet plane para alam nung mga stakeholders kung ano yung itsura nung inside sa model jet plane mo. Kasi baka mamaya magastos or masyado matigas pag in-slice pa natin para maipakita lang natin yung bakal na sa loob. Another is the spider dress. So, the spider dress is 2.0 by Anok Whippet. I'm not sure, but I think this one is also created through 3D printing. Ayan. And then we have the teddy bear printed from a wireframe design. So, as you can see in the first illustration, yung kulay yellow pie teddy bear, it is created by an editing app, either like at Maya or something like 4D Cinema, ayan, or Google Sketch app. So, pwede tayo doon makagawa ng mga 3D models. And once na nagawa mo na yung 3D model, the designer could now apply it in real life. So, ito na itsura niya. So, this is how it looks like. The teddy bear printed form a wireframe design. Kasi class, it's not enough that we have a 2D representation of a product. Sometimes we want to see it in 3D. So we could carefully analyze the product and we could come up with a lot of conclusions regarding that product. Okay, so what is prototyping in interaction design? In interaction design, a prototype could be among other things. It could be in a form of sketches, or screen sketches, in a form of storyboard, for example, a cartoon-like series of scenes, a PowerPoint slideshow, a video stimulating the use of a system, a lump of wood, for instance, the Palm Pilot, a cardboard mock-up, and a piece of software with limited functionality written in the target language or in another language. Now, why is it important to prototype? The main reason why people or designers prototype is to get a concrete or a decent evaluation and feedback dun sa mga tao na pinagpresenta nila ng prototype. Kasi sila yung central or pinaka-important na component sa interaction design. Through prototyping, the stakeholders will be able to see, hold, and interact with a prototype more easily than a document or a drawing. Team members could also communicate effectively. Ideas can be tested out. So prototyping encourages reflection. Now that you see something in real life or at least closer or in 3D form, it's easier to reflect or to visualize or to come up with the conclusion. For example, there's a dress. And then you'll always used to seeing it in a picture. Pero what if there is an actual, at least some type of prototype of the dress, not using the high quality materials, pero parang prototype lang nun, then you'll see it or makikita nyo kung ano yung size pala niya, ganito pala itsura niya, pag suot siya, ayan, and so on. So prototypes answer questions and also support designers in choosing between alternatives. So in prototyping, as I have discussed before, we have two types. We have low fidelity prototyping and we also have high fidelity prototyping. So in low fidelity prototyping, it uses a medium which is unlike the final medium. For example, a paper or a cardboard. It refers to prototypes that makes use of a quick, cheap, and easy materials. So, pag low fidelity prototyping, from the word itself, low, so para siyang, it could be synonymous to low budget, madaling mapalitan, mura lang, ayan. And then, usually, ang mga materials niya ay gawa sa paper or cardboard. And nagagawin natin, class, actually, sa final case presentation natin, sa final term, is gagawa tayo ng sample prototype ng isang system, kung saan ang gagamitin natin ay low fidelity prototype. Examples daw ng low fidelity prototype would be sketches of screen, like task sequences and so on, post-it notes, storyboards, or Wizard of Oz. So, what are storyboards naman po? Storyboard is a series of sketches showing how a user might progress through tasks using the product. It is often used with scenarios, bringing in more detail and a chance to role play. So, this is an example class of a storyboard. So, usually, storyboard are used by directors or even in animated movies. So, they create a storyboard first bago sila mag-start mag-drawing ng animation. So, para ma-visualize nila paano yung magiging body movements ng character. Or, they also make use of storyboard. For example, sa mga commercial, sa mga movies, pagka complicated yung plot. So, para alam na nila or na-visualize na nila how the actor would move, how the directors and the staff will be able to fix the setups or the how they were able to post the stunts, ayan, yung mga props nila, mga layouts, through the use of storyboard. Sketching, so it is also another type of low fidelity prototyping, and it often relies on sketching. So don't be inhibited about drawing ability, just practice simple symbols. For example, so we have people, this arrow refers to give, and then the other arrow refers to receive, and then the arrow na naka-curve, it refers to transfer. So in sketching, you can create your own legend. So it doesn't matter if you are good at drawing or not, as long as parang kaya pa naman siyang maintindihan, so okay siya. Okay, so what is the difference between sketching and storyboard? In storyboard, you present some sort of a sequence or order with your drawing. While in sketches, you sketch random icons or some random pictures to signify an idea. So prototyping, other than sketches, we also have index card. So we often use index card around 3 by 5 inches to create a prototype. Usually this type of prototype is used for proposing a sample web page or software. Each card, as you see in the illustration on the left side, represents one element of interaction. In evaluation, can step through the cards. So ito yung mga kadalasang magiging expected output ko sa final case presentation nyo. So you're going to create a paper-based prototype. Now, I have presented to you 2 options to create your prototype. You may create a paper-based prototype if you prepare to draw each of the section or each of the contents of your software or proposed system. Or you may opt to use PowerPoint presentation if you're more comfortable with designing it through the use of PowerPoint. Pero strictly class, always remember this to avoid taking a random screenshot of a web page then claiming it as your own for your prototype. That will be counted as plagiarism, even if you reference it. So Wizard of Oz prototyping, the user thinks they are listening with a computer but a human is responding to output rather than the system. Usually done in early design to understand users' expectation. So what is wrong with this approach? So kaya siya tinawag the Wizard of Oz prototyping. I don't know if you have watched the Wizard of Oz yet or if you still recall this one scene. So merong scene na yung main character, I also forgotten the name. So, itong main character na to, ang ginawa niya is, hinahanap niya yung Wizard of Oz para makauwi na siya dun sa kanila kasi tinangay siya ng hurricane dun sa magical land na yon. Ngayon, while meeting up with Wizard of Oz, naakala niya, ang expectation niya isa siyang wizard, so with magic siya, makakauwi na siya. Yun pala, it turns out that the Wizard of Oz is a fraud. Ano lang siya, isang ordinary human being na binobosisan lang niya yung isang mechanic para magmukha siyang malaking robot or malaking tao or parang wizard yung boses niya. So, yun yung sabi ng Wizard of Oz. You create or you imitate something. So, dito, paano siya gumagana is that the user responds with someone na akala nila internet yung kausap nila, yung pala tao talaga. So, maaring na-blur out or nabago or nagkaroon ng voice changer yung kausap para hindi mahalata. So, anyway, Wizard of Oz prototyping is a bizarre or napakadalang lang gamitin na prototype. So, that's why we are not familiar with this type of prototyping. So, it's not that preparable. People still use this one, pero it's not that very much highly appropriate or preferred by many to use the Wizard of Oz prototyping. Next is we have the high fidelity prototyping. The materials uses in the high fidelity prototyping is that you would expect to be in the final product. So, pulido na to. So, close to the real thing na pag sinabi nating high fidelity prototyping. So, prototyping looks more like the final system than a low fidelity version. High fidelity prototypes can be developed by integrating existing hardware and software components. Danger that users think they have a complete system, see the compromises. So, class with the high fidelity prototyping type, yun yung parang ginawa mo na or halos almost finished na yung product mo. For example, if you were to design a web page or a system, so sa low fidelity, you sketch out first the overall look or design of your system or software. You either use Photoshop or you draw it manually through paper. Ngayon, pag high fidelity, isa lang example natin class ng software or web page, gagawa ka or magko-code ka ng gagamit ka ng HTML, magko-code ka ng itsura ng actual system na yon. Pero hindi pa gumagana ibang component niya. Now, that is what high fidelity prototyping looks like. Kaya nga minsan pagka nagpe-present sa capstone, so maganda yung design pero hindi functional, sabihin sa'yo, ay, parang prototype lang yung ginawa mong thesis. Mali yan. Ayusin mo ulit, marami ka pa i-revise. Ayan. So, what are the compromises in prototyping?